everybody, and Happy New Year. I'm Kathleen Hawkins, your proud president and founder of WOAMTEC, and I am so excited about today's WOAMTEC Live. We've got a fantastic show where you can work on building your business. And Happy New Year. I'm Kathleen Hawkins, your proud president and founder of WOAMTEC, and I am so excited about today's WOAMTEC Live. We've got a fantastic show where you can work on building your business, building your life, building your bank account, and just building a healthier you. So we've got a great segment prepared for us today with three amazing guests. I do want to mention that we are in the process of securing several things for 2014. We are looking for more people to appear on WOAMTEC Live. So if you have an educational benefit or message or anything that you would like to share and deliver that can help inspire, educate, and motivate our members, I want to hear from you. This is a free opportunity where you can not only advertise and promote your business, but you can help inspire and make a difference in the lives of somebody else. So speaking of the lives of somebody else, we've had lots of new directors come on board with WOAMTEC, and I'm just so excited to see all the way from Anchorage to California. We've got tremendous growth. Kansas City, I want to give a big shout out to my Missouri and my Kansas folks because they are on fire. And I'm just so excited about all the growth because when you believe in our vision, your success is not only our success, but when you believe in our vision, you believe in making a difference in the lives of others. You believe in what WOAMTEC is all about, women on a mission to earn commission, and a few good men, of course, too. But understand that the to earn commission is really the greater commissions in life, making a difference in the lives of others, paying it forward, understanding that if you help other people reach their goals and reach their dreams and reach their desires, you will be paid back, you will be blessed, you will be helped in exchange, and having enough faith to believe that. I am thankful for every director and every member across the nation that believes in that and is continuing to make a difference in their chapter, in their business, and in their community. Together, we're going to work together to make a difference in a lot of lives in 2014. The WOAMTEC Foundation was official last year. We received our trademark in the month of November. We launched our new magazine in the month of December, and we featured our first recipient of the foundation, a young lady who aged out of foster care and is looking for a mentor in the graphic design field. She currently is riding her bike an hour to an hour and a half away to get to school and back. She is motivated and inspired to get her education to make a difference, to break the cycle of victimization. We're looking to continue to do that for young adults who have been abused, neglected, or abandoned through no fault of their own, continuously, not only in Central Florida, not only in the state of Florida, but in every state across the nation. So if you have any desire to help children like that make a difference, if you would like to mentor them or provide guidance or support in any way, shape, or form, we want to hear from you because we need people like you to help support us to make a difference so we can not only break a cycle, but so we can build the community by bringing these people who need our help the most and connecting them with the business people in their community that can truly help them make a difference, because that's how they become the young adults of tomorrow. So thank you for all of you that have been involved so far. Thank you for all of you that have helped us with silent auction fundraisers and that are on our board and that have volunteered. We do have our national conference coming up in 2014, April 23rd, 24th, and 25th, and we are currently looking for silent auction donations for that conference as well. All proceeds will go to the WOAMTEC Foundation, and all proceeds will directly help a child in need. So keep that in mind and give us a shout out if you would like to make a silent auction donation, participate, be involved, be a volunteer, or help out in any way, shape, or form. Now let's get started because we've got a great show for you to see today. I'm so excited about our guest. The first guest is going to help us build our bank account. And I know as we start the new year and we're working on our New Year's resolutions, lots of us have goals. You know, lots of us have goals on how we can make more money, how we can keep in balance, how we can lose weight. And that's really what today's show is all about, is not only making those goals, but having the education and the information that you need to reach them and to surpass them and continue to move forward. And when I met this lady, I wanted you to meet her too, because their bank is a little bit more unique. They do offer some things that I think you should think about. And I think that we all need to look at, okay, where are we spending our money and are we doing it wisely? Can we make better financial decisions? And I think she can shed shed some light on that for us today. So please welcome to the set Messerette. Messerette, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Kathleen.
I'm excited to have you here. Now tell everybody you're with Trustco Bank, who is a corporate member,
Bank,
which we absolutely love, so thank you. Shout out to all of our Trustco members, but tell us who you are, tell us a little bit about what you do, you know, and then we're going to dive into some of the information you have to share with us today.
Well, I'm Messerette Newsome, and I work for Trustco Bank. As you stated, I'm the branch manager at our Windermere location. That's at 2899 McGuire Road. I'm also a proud member of the Dr. Phillips DP chapter, so go Divas.
Woohoo!
And I'm excited about being here today. We've got some great things that we're rolling out for the new year, and I'm excited to be able to share some with you and our guests and your viewers today.
I think that's awesome, and I'm glad to have you here. Now, let's first talk about, there's people from all over the nation that are watching the show, and once it goes on our WOAMTEC channel or on our YouTube channel, there will be people, you know, everywhere that could be downloading this. First, let's talk about where is Trustco Bank located, because I think that that's important.
Okay, Trustco Bank is actually located out of upstate New York. Our home office is in Schenectady, New York. One of the things I think that I want everybody to be aware of is that Trustco has been around for 100+ years, okay? So we may be relatively new to the Florida market, but we're not new at all to banking. We've been around for 100+ years, and we provide a 100+ years worth of excellent customer service and banking knowledge.
That's awesome. Now, I know that Trustco is a little bit different in the way they operate, and I love that. So I want to first talk about, anybody can work with them, but what I first want to talk about is, you know, with Trustco Bank, who would be your ideal demographic? Who is your ideal client?
Well, I mean, we've got something for everyone. So, I mean, we've got something for the young adults who are going to be entering into young adulthood. So we've got something for the college student who's just starting off with a new account and they're not really familiar with how to manage that. We've got something for the college graduate who's looking for their first time home. We've got some excellent home lending programs. We've got something for the entrepreneur, first business account. So we've got a little bit of something for everyone. Retirement accounts. I mean, Trustco is a full service bank, and we have a lot of different products that are going to be great for anyone who's just looking to either save money, manage money, invest money. We can do it all.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about this, because most of the people that are watching the show are actually entrepreneurs. They're small business owners. There are people in business for themselves, sometimes by themselves. So one of the articles that I wrote that's on WOAMTEC Live, if you look at our entrepreneurial education, is called The Profits in the Sauce. Okay. And it talks about, it was an article that was inspired by a Chinese delivery that came to our office, and there were like 40 bags of sauces that were there, and none of us ate any of them, and we threw them all away. And so the article really focuses on, sometimes with businesses, they make bad decisions and they lose money. When they're so focused on making more money, they lose money because they're making bad financial decisions because the profit is in the sauce. You know, they're giving away things that they shouldn't be giving away. One of the things that I want to encourage each and every member to consider and to look at is how are you spending your money? Look at, in the new year, look at every single expense that's going out of your account, because I think it's important to just really hone in and make a difference and know that the profit's in the sauce. You know, so how can you save people money? How does your bank save people money?
Well, one of the things about when you talk about the sauce that's in there and saving, that company saving money, because you're right, they're throwing away a lot of money by giving out all that sauce and no one's using it. One of the first things I would say is look at your account. Actually see how much of that money is going to not to help you save, but towards the bank's profit. I mean, yeah, we're all in business for a profit, but at Trustco, we try to make banking easy, simple, and most of all, we do a lot of things free. Most of our checking products are absolutely free. One of the things that you want to do is take a look at your accounts. See how much money it's going to cost you just to use that debit card. I mean, see how much money it costs you just to have your money sitting there, even if you're not using it. Some of you all will probably be surprised at the amount of money that you're actually spending just to have an account open at a bank. At Trustco, it's absolutely free.
Okay. See, I think that's great. And for a teenager that's just getting a job or somebody that's just in college that's you know just getting out there, it's really important not only to have a personal bank that's going to help them, teach them some of the things that they may not know, but also to save the money, because you know $15 a month could be a lot of money to that person, and it does definitely add up, you know, over the course of the year. So now, if there's somebody that's watching and they're in business and they're looking at 2014 and they're saying, you know, I charge too much on my credit cards over the holidays, or I'm worried about cash flow, what would you recommend? Can they come to you, and are there things that they can do to look at consolidating, or what are some suggestions that you might have for them?
Of course, they can stop into our branch, and I'll be happy to sit down and talk with them. I'll go over any type of paperwork that they may have, and we can look at ways that we can try to cut, shave off, or actually save them money. I mean, we'll start with looking at their spending habits. Maybe there's something we can do there. Maybe start them a separate savings account where they can actually put just a little bit of, for instance, if you're spending money on coffee and you want to start to save, maybe you can put that coffee money into a separate account, a free account that's not going to cost you anything, and use those funds to sort of save and then pay off an account, some of those charges that you made at Christmas time. Pay that off in sort of a larger bulk way, so to speak.
Right.
So we can do that for you.
I have to say, I can't believe you just told people to stop drinking coffee during the middle of the holidays in this cold weather.
Listen, you don't have to stop drinking coffee, but maybe you want to drink it from the home instead of going out to some of these other places and spending so much on it.
I hear you, absolutely.
So, yeah, just come out the bank. I mean, I'm always at the bank. We're a hometown bank. We have a hometown feel. You're always going to get a face-to-face with us. One of the things I love about Trustco and what attracted me to Trustco is that particular fact. We're a neighborhood hometown bank, and we have a neighborhood feel and a hometown feel. So you're always going to have a face-to-face. You're never going to, talk to a computer, so you don't have to worry about yelling at the computer, unfortunately, or I should say, what is it, when you call in that automated? Mm-hmm. Well, you're actually going to be able to yell at me, so,
Uh-oh. I doubt they'll yell at you, but I bet they could probably stop by the bank and get a cup of coffee.
Of course they can.
When they come by and see you.
Of course they can.
I think it's really important, too, to take a look at loans and home modification, or let's back up. Let's first, before we go into home loans and stuff like that, let's look at somebody that may have been affected in the last 5 to 7 years by the recession. Maybe their credit was damaged a little bit. It's not what it used to be. I run into people all the time that are trying to build their business, trying to make things happen, but because their credit was affected with a job change or lost the house or whatever in the last 7 years. Is there a program that you can offer that will help them rebuild their credit? And what financial investment would it take to begin that process?
Well, there is a program. You can start with as little as $500. You can come in, and what you can do is do a secured loan. That's where you're actually going to bring your money into the bank. We're going to secure that money for a certain amount of time, and you're going to pay us small monthly payments. We do that to accommodate you in terms of the monthly payment. We're going to make it easy for you. What you're doing there is you're going ahead and you're reestablishing a track record for yourself in terms of payments, and that's what we want to see out there. When you're going in to purchase something, they want to see what your past record like. They want to know how you've taken care of your businesses and your financing and paid your bills prior to coming in to see them. So one of the things you can do is start with a small amount of about $500 and do a shared secured loan. You're going to get a lower interest rate, and you're going to be able to start to rebuild your credit.
Okay, so if I put $500 in an account and then I make, I'm just making this up here, $50 monthly payments, do I end up with $1,000 or whatever it comes out to?
You're not going to end up with $1,000, unfortunately. Okay. You're going to end up with a little bit more than $500, though, because guess what? You're going to earn interest on that money as it sits in an account.
Okay.
So you're not going to end up with $1,000, but you are going to end up, and you better than that, you're going to end up with a great credit history and a great payment pattern.
So it's kind of like paying for your credit back, which is important. And if you're looking at something, it's better to take that small little loan and leap in order to move forward than to let 7 years, 9 years, 10 years go back before you're moving forward, because that will definitely stifle the growth of your business. It will definitely hinder you when you can't make cash flow decisions because you don't have credit. I think that's really important for every business person to look at. So in an overview, we're going to summarize by saying, or we're going to wrap it up by saying, you want to make sure that you analyze every single expense that you have, and if your bank is charging you too much money in expenses, understand that that's coming out of your profits. I did want to ask you that, how important is it? I do assessments all the time with smaller businesses, usually home-based businesses, that are commingling their finances, that they're putting their money into their personal account. What is your suggestion, or what is your recommendation for somebody that may be using one account, and I know you're not an accountant, but one account for business and personal?
Well, I would really recommend that you separate those accounts. I mean, in the end, when you go to, at the end of the year, when you go to do your tax, papers, and you go to your accountant, it's going to be easier for both you and the accountant if you've got those funds separated. So I would suggest that you look at a bank like Trustco, who does an absolutely free business checking account. Okay, it's not going to cost you anything. And I would suggest that you go ahead, come in and see me, and let's get you started with a separate account and keep those funds totally separate.
I think that's important. You know, most of the people that I do assessments with, when I do it, we realize that they think the account, they think keeping them together, they feel as though they're making money. But the minute you separate it and your business is entirely separate, you realize you're not really making money. Now, what about mortgages? Is there anything that you can do to help somebody in mortgages? How is Trustco different?
Well, I tell you what, we're different because we're a portfolio lender, okay? So that means that if you ever had a mortgage, you're familiar with the sale of the mortgages. So before you really get home and make that first monthly payment, guess what? They've already sold your mortgage, okay? Trustco does not sell any mortgages. We keep all of our loans on our books. So we're a portfolio lender, and that's great because, again, you're going to get that hometown, you're going to get that personalized, attention that you need, okay? So you're always going to talk to someone that you're familiar with. The other thing I want to mention is we've got a great program that we've just rolled out. And I would say it would be worth it for you to come by or give me a call to talk about our 95% loan to value. It's a 95% program that we've just rolled out, and it is wonderful. And I would really encourage you to give me a call and find out a little bit more about that program.
Well, that's awesome. And I know that we have talked about the fact that you have a couple of special gifts. So tell us again where you're located at, the Trustco Bank in?
We're located in Windermere, 2899 McGuire Road.
Okay, wonderful. So the first 3 people that go by the bank and just stop in for a cup of coffee. It's cold out there, so just stop in for a cup of coffee. Messerette's got a gift for you. So she's going to have a special gift and a cup of coffee, and she'll answer any questions you have in regards to any of your banking needs. So thank you so very much for being here today. It was a pleasure to have you on the show, and I know you are a WOAMTEC member. She's part of the Dr. Phillips DP Divas chapter, so if you have any questions, you can find her through the WOAMTEC directory, so you can contact her directly from the WOAMTEC directory, or how else may they find you? Do you have a personal website or a phone number that you want to share?
I do not have a personal website, but I will share my phone number. I can be reached at 407-654-0498, and again, that's the Windermere location. That's at 2899 McGuire Road. And stop in and see me. I'd love to be able to talk with you, and I'll have a cup of coffee with you, too.
That's
awesome.
How about that? Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, stay warm out there, and have a happy New Year. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks.
You know, we have so much more to share with you. I mentioned the WOAMTEC conference that's coming up in April 24th of 2014. We've got so many magnificent vendors already. It is exciting. We've got a sponsor that is really helping us put together a great segment, a great show, and we are looking for one more breakout session speaker. So if you could get excited about sharing an educational topic, a 45-minute segment that would help make a difference in someone's life, someone's business, you know, that can provide education that an entrepreneur may need, I want to hear from you. In exchange for speaking and doing that 45-minute segment, you will have a free vendor table at the main conference, the main stage conference. You will also have a free VIP ticket to attend the event. But more importantly, you will get some amazing exposure for your business and help to develop some real strong contacts with people from not only Central Florida, but across America. So I would love to hear from you. And I did also want to mention, I posted on Facebook this week that we are rolling out the 2014 WOAMTEC Member of the Week. We've already selected our first quarter winners, and I just wanted to let you know, if you want to be represented as a WOAMTEC 2014 Member of the Week, this is what we're looking for. First, your WOAMTEC member profile has to be up to date. So you have to make sure that you've logged in, you've added your Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn if you have it. If not, we want to at least see a photo, a logo, a website. Most of our members don't even have websites, and that's what the general public would be searching for when going to our directory. If you don't have a website, they can't find you, because if you're not logged in as a member, you can't see the rest of the information. We do take a look at who's participated in business assessments. We take a look at who's participated in conferences or seminars, what members are more active, who participates on the WOAMTEC Facebook page. You know, are you one to communicate and get to dialogue and get to know other members? And then we also take suggestions and recommendations from your director. So Brown knows your director a little bit if you want to be featured. What does it mean to be featured as a member of the week? Well, you get a special blog written just about you and promoting your business that is emailed to over 10,000 people. You get posted on our WOAMTEC website. You get a complimentary banner ad on the homepage of WOAMTEC.com with a link directly to your website. And then you get a certificate signed by me. I mean, that's just a piece of paper, but some people like to hang it on their walls. So if you'd like to be a member of the week, we want to hear from you. So get engaged. You know, with WOAMTEC, your success depends on how engaged you are. You know, you can sign up as a member, but if you're not building your relationships, then you're not making the most of your membership. And we want to make sure that you do, everybody. If you're not a member and you're watching today, I encourage you to go to WOAMTEC.com. That's WOAMTEC.com, and learn more about what it takes to be a member. If you're in an area that we're not in yet, we are looking for positive, professional, like-minded people that could get excited about being authoritative leaders in their community, that could get excited about a free networking opportunity, that could get excited about being paid to network and grow their own business. So if you are that type of person that can also lead and inspire others, we would love to connect with you. Some of our top directors in 2013 earned between $10,000 and $15,000 just for networking and leading their chapter. That person could be you, and it's a great opportunity. But what I can tell you is most of our directors, what they love the most is not the money, not even getting the free membership. What they love the most is building relationships with authentic people within their community and being viewed as somebody that the community respects. And we would love to connect with you. So we're always looking for a few good leaders anywhere. Just reach out and go to WOAMTEC.com for more information. Next, I want to introduce you to a great guest. We always say with WOAMTEC, men are welcome, women are required. This man is absolutely welcome with WOAMTEC. He is a member of our Heathrow chapter, and we're glad to have Dale with us today. So Dale, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Tell everybody who you are and a little bit about what you do.
My name is Dale Mcmindes, and I'm an Allstate agent. And first off, before I go any further, I got to do a shout out to all the Heathrow hotties and a few good men. Woo! All right.
That's good. I thought you were going to do your in good hands thing.
I can do that as well.
Okay, please do.
You're always in good hands with Allstate.
Absolutely. So you're with Allstate, and
Absolutely.
How long have you owned this practice? How long have you been in this firm?
About 2.5 years now.
Okay, and you're kicking butt.
We are.
That's
We're
awesome.
already on pace for a second full year of Honor Ring, which is a Florida award, and we're excited. We're excited about the prospect for this coming up year.
That's awesome. Well, one of the things that I love the most about Dale is you're really great about going up and meeting people and asking them for help and figuring out who they can refer you to or how you can be strategic partners. You really do get the importance of creating a synergy where you're working together and you're not just selling to people. And likewise, you take the time to listen to what they do and to figure out how you can help them. And I admire you for that. You're very good at that. Today, I asked Dale to come today to talk to us a little bit about your business, the liabilities that may be involved in your business or the risks that you may be taking in your business and how you might be able to protect yourself. Whether you're a solopreneur, a one-man or woman operation running your business, or you have a large practice or a large firm, there's a lot of things that you need to take into consideration to protect yourself, to protect your family, to protect your employees, and to protect your business.
So true. The first thing is people always think about when they're starting a business or even if they're in business, they're always thinking about how to grow the business and what they're going to do to get that part of the business going. But people don't think about, as an owner, they don't think about what they're going to do. What is their succession plan? What is their exit strategy? And what are they going to do at the end of the time? Whether they are a single owner or they are a partnership, you need to think about what are you going to do. So first thing you need to think about is if you're a partnership, are you setting up a buy-sell agreement? In other words, if you want to get out of the business, that you can orderly transfer the business to someone else, or you're going to have to go through a lot of issue if you don't. Second thing is that you're planning retirement. That's the goal of everyone. You want to be able to retire. You want to be able to enjoy some time. But are you really planning? Are you planning financially to be able to do that? And whatever that vehicle is, whether through some type of a IRA, 401k program, something along those lines that can do that for you.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that because I think we've had a couple of people on the show where we've talked about exit strategies, mainly people that are attorneys or something like that. But people don't often think, because their goal right now is paying the bills. Their goal is getting through this building the business, that they often don't think about that exit strategy until they're ready to exit, and then they're like, oh, what do I do? Where do I go? But more importantly, what happens if you abruptly exit? Like, I imagine that your family depends on the work that you do, right?
Absolutely. You need to think about, if something happened to you, if you get sick or you get hurt, you need to put some type of a long-term disability plan in place, because your business can continue on and you still need money coming in to support you and your family. So have you put something like that in place is huge.
Well, in we were talking before the show about, I personally have life insurance in place, but until we started talking, I didn't realize, or I didn't think that, I might need a policy just for WOAMTEC. I might need a WOAMTEC policy, so if something happens to me, my husband would have money and he wouldn't be pulling from the money that I have designated to pay our mortgage or whatever, but he would have a WOAMTEC account that they could hire a CEO, they could hire a replacement.
A key person policy, exactly.
Okay, well, you also mentioned employees, and that really shocked me. So give them an idea as to what they can do. If they have a key employee that they depend on, that may not be a husband or a wife or somebody that you're related to, how would a business owner use that to in order to protect their office or their business?
It's huge. I mean, especially if you, it doesn't matter the size, but especially if you're a small company, if you have a key employee that is, if something happens to them, whether or not, if it's untimely or if they're out for an extended period of time, you are depending upon them to be able to keep that business going. And so you can actually set up a life insurance policy, for example, on your key employees. And that way, if something happens and you need to replace them, you can actually get the money from the life insurance policy and help in that time while you search for your new employee.
Important. And that would probably enable a small business to actually use a recruiting firm or a staffing firm or whatever, where normally they might be stressed out about the expenses or paying the commissions and the things like that, which would delay the hiring and training process because they're not hiring somebody that's as prepared for the job. But it would give them the funds to be able to hire them sooner and have somebody else help you through that selection process to make your life easier, which is important.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head because it's going to cost. It's expenses. You have to go out and a hiring firm. It's all going to cost money. And you may not have it.
Now, I know we've mentioned in the past, we've talked a little bit in the past about subsidy health insurance and all the changes that are happening like that. Do you have any suggestions or advice or recommendations on small business owners that may be watching that may say, how do I compete with all the other companies out there? Like, how do I get, during the recession, I can say, be happy you have a job. You know what I mean? Suck it up. Be happy you have a job. I don't pay insurance. I don't pay benefits. I don't do any of that. Just kidding. I would never say that. But a lot of people may think that. If you have a company and you don't know how to make a package that is able to be presented to really keep good people, what can a business do to offer things to their employees that may not cost a ton of money but may help with retention?
Well, you can set up any number of programs, but some a lot of people with concern, and even with group packages right now, as of January 1st, 2014, the Affordable Care Act, I mean, there's a lot of group plans now that are rising in cost, and their deductibles are rising, and their co-pays are rising, and companies are having to figure out, how can we still be financially sound and at the same time be able to offer, to be able to attract people and to be able to retain people? And something that a lot of companies are doing out there and that we can definitely help with is supplemental benefits. Those are plans that either A, you as a company owner can actually participate in and help pay for, or B, you can actually offer it as a benefit, but you can actually not pay anything into it, and actually it's done through a payroll deduction plan. And these are hospital plans, cancer plans, accident plans, even dental, vision, life insurance plans that can all be set up for the employees. The employees can pick what plans they choose because they're not tied to a major medical plan.
Right.
And they can pick and choose what they want and what's most important to them, done through a payroll deduction. The company looks great because they're offering the plans, but they're not financially having to be put in a position to pay for them.
I think that's awesome. And I can tell you, when my father passed away a few years back, I remember he was sick for a period of time before he passed, and I remember every time it was like, oh, he's got to go to the hospital again, and it was like so. And that sounds horrible, but it was always for my mother and for myself. Just everybody had to pack everything up, and we had to go by and visit him, and it was like every month we would spend 3 days at the hospital. And I know that if we would have had supplemental insurance on him, a couple of things, it wouldn't have been so stressful, because you can get a plan where every time they go to the hospital, you are at least compensated. So you would almost get excited, instead of being stressed out that he's back in the hospital again. But there's lots of ways that can relieve those kind of burdens.
There are. I mean, you think about, these plans, although they are supplemental, the great thing is they're not tied to a hospital system. They're not tied to a major medical system. They're not tied to a doctor's system. You can cross the state lines and use them. But the payouts for them are far outweigh the cost in many cases. I mean, if you develop a cancer, God forbid, these plans can pay out, and it can be the difference between going under financially and not going under financially. They are really strong plans.
Or getting the specialized care that you wish you could afford.
Exactly.
Versus the care that you can't afford, which is important.
Exactly.
So whether it be for your employee or for your family or for yourself, there are things that everybody in the new year, in 2014, everybody should be looking at. You should be talking to somebody and just make an educated decision. If you don't know what your options are, there's no way that you can make sure that you're protecting your family or your business if you haven't sat down and said, okay, what is available to me? Where is my liability? Where are my risks? And what am I willing to take for my family? And how do I want to protect myself, which is important. Now, I know you have a few more tips that you wanted to share as far as being a business owner is concerned. So what are some of the things, well, we talked about this before the segment, workman's compensation. I would almost bet that most of the people that are watching this right now probably don't have workman's compensation. Is that a good decision or a bad decision?
That's a bad decision. That is the chances of one of your employees getting hurt is growing and growing, and depending upon the type of trade that it is. But really, you need to have that. The cost and the litigation, and if it goes into an extended period of time, can be very, very financially detrimental. And so a workman's comp policy is huge. And even if you have just a few employees, all the way up to the size of a large corporation, it is well worth investigating and getting one, and they are very reasonable, very reasonable. Absolutely are.
What type of liability insurance do you think is, like, what type of businesses would need what type of liability insurance that you would recommend?
Well, I mean, I would recommend looking at, you talking about the supplemental piece. Mm-hmm. If you're looking at trades, especially if the accident plans, you think about if you own a company, say you own a plumbing company, mm-hmm. and those people are out working constantly with their hands. If those employees get hurt, they're not working, mm-hmm. and those kind of people need those plans because they have benefits built into them, not only for the recuperation and the healing process, but also for the long-term care. There are so many facets to them that are really comprehensive, and they really can help. They can help people.
Though we do have a few plumbers that are in WOAMTEC, which is surprising because I just processed one today that can absolutely relate to this. Most of our members aren't plumbers. So
yes.
Let's take a look at an opposite side of that spectrum, and let's talk about somebody that may be in direct sales. Maybe it's someone that sells jewelry, or someone that sells makeup, or someone that sells anything that's retail related. The chances of them using their car to go to all these appointments and to go to WOAMTEC and to do all that, their family car, is very high, even though technically they're running a business. So what advice would you have for somebody in that situation?
Well, as Messerette talked about, just in the last segment, talking about separating out your personal account and your business account, that is such wise wisdom. And again, the same thing is with your vehicle. If you are using your vehicle for business purposes, number one, you need to get it rated as a commercial policy. Number two, from a tax perspective and also from a deduction perspective. I mean, if you're a small business owner especially, and you're looking for every deduction that you can get mm-hmm. to be able to minimize that tax bill, that tax burden, those deductions are huge. And again, I'm not a CPA, but I can tell you that working with CPAs out there, and I'm sure we have several of them in our chapters, they will testify to the fact that you want to separate that, number one. Number two, if you're going to be using your vehicle like that, you need to be able to have insurance that is rated as a commercial policy. You don't want to be having a litigation issue down the road if you, knock on wood, proverbial, that something happens, you're in an accident or something like that, and it's determined that your vehicle is not being used for its proper use. And that just gets into a whole can of worms you don't want.
And for any small business entrepreneur that's out there, I think it's really important to take into consideration that whenever your liability is there, whenever you're putting your company at risk, a lot of times as business owners, we kind of tighten up our pocket or wallet or whatever instead of letting it go. And unfortunately, if Apple had a lawsuit, I'm sure they can probably handle it. If Dell had a lawsuit, they could probably they probably have legal people on staff that could just be like, okay, let's deal with this. If I had a lawsuit, or if you had a lawsuit, do you have an attorney on retainer? Do you have the money to be able to go to litigation? Do you have all of that? And that's what Dale's talking about. In the new year, when you're working on making your goals, I think it's critical that every business looks at what risk you're taking and understands that if something happens, it could be a catastrophe, not only for you, but for
Huge.
your entire family,
Huge.
which is huge. So now, is there any other, as we wrap up the segment, is there any other suggestion that you have, or a thing that you want to mention in regards to property and casualty insurance, or anything else that a business owner would need to take into consideration?
Well, I would definitely be looking at if you're depending upon your trade. If you are in any type of professionalism, for example, doctors, lawyers, if you work at a hospital, professional liability is huge, because I mean the chances of like an errors and omissions claim just goes through the roof. I mean, as you all hear on TV, I mean the number of lawsuits going up and the amounts that are being paid out. For you as an entrepreneur, if something were to happen to where either your product, something went wrong with your product, or a service that you offered just went terribly wrong, and you get sued, do you have a liability policy in place to help you? Are you planning on paying for it out of pocket? Because trust me, the amount of money that you're going to pay out of pocket is going to be, it will not cover it unless you're Donald Trump or something like that. It's just not going to happen. So for pennies on the dollar, in terms of how much it's going to cost you to get a liability policy, it is well worth it. And it doesn't matter what your business is, or your services, you need to think about having a liability policy in place, because that is just, it's huge. You got to have it.
Absolutely, and it's a simple thing to fix and a simple thing to do. So, Dale, thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure.
If somebody, well, first of all, where can you help people? Like, are you limited to Central Florida? Are you limited to the state of Florida? Can you refer them to people outside of the state if they need to meet somebody?
We can help anyone in the state of Florida, but with our supplemental benefits plans, we can help anyone in the entire continental United States. So, for example, if someone had an office here, but an office up in Minnesota, we can go and set up a plan for their supplemental benefits here, and we can send people to the reps right there. So we're nationwide with that. It's really great. And we're ranked #1. I mean, although we're not known versus some of our competitors, LIMRA, which is a rating service, ranks 5 out of our 6 plans as #1 ranking.
That
so
is awesome.
They are really great.
That is awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited. And I do want to mention real quick that you can find Dale on the WOAMTEC Heathrow page, and he's on the directory there. And if you check him out, are you on our Facebook page, the WOAMTEC Facebook page? If
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
you can go to the WOAMTEC Facebook page, which some of you may be posting on right now. It's where we posted a link to this show, and you can connect with him there as well. And I appreciate you for being here
My
today.
pleasure.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks, Dale. Take care. Have a great day. All right, we're going to take a short break for just a second, and we will be back in just a moment. Don't leave, because we're going to talk about how to lose weight and how to feel great in 2014. We talk about banking and we talk about making money. We talk about protecting those assets and making sure that you're being financially prepared and sound in all the decisions that you make. But we also talked a little bit about what happens should you get sick. How important is it to stay healthy? A lot of people in the new year make New Year resolutions where they're going to lose weight because they want to feel great and they want to get their life back, get their body back. I think it's really important that we take a moment and we say, when you make those goals, it's truly not about just losing weight. It's about making a lifestyle decision that's going to change your life, not just today, but for the rest of your life. Recently I've put together a goal. My brother, I'm give shout out to my brother and his fiance, because they're getting married in May 10th, and I've got this audacious goal not to be the fat old sister, which you'll hear about soon. But we're going to talk a little bit about how you can feel better and the changes that you make. And there's not one cookie cutter approach to anything that you do. You really have to take a look at customizing something. So our next guest is here today to talk to us not only about weight loss, but feeling good, feeling feeling better, staying healthier. You know, it doesn't do you any good if you have $1 million in your bank account, if you're laying in bed sick, or if you can't get out of bed, you know, because you're not healthy. And so now please welcome to the set the fantastic Shelly Bradford. Thank you so much for being here today, Shelly. Yay, I'm so glad. Now tell us, what do you do? What company do you work with? What do you do?
I work at ImaginU Wellness, and we are actually in Orlando, and I'm in Southwest Internal Medicine, and I am their health and wellness coach. So I do everything from weight loss to helping them, you know, diabetic medications and making sure that they can manage that correctly and eating correctly as they're doing that.
Okay, why would that type of company hire a health and wellness coach?
Really, it's more to help people get accountable to their lifestyles and, you know, have somebody to talk to and figure out how to get off the roller coaster that they're on.
Okay, you know, that's true because so many people are on a roller coaster. You know, it's like I lose the weight, I gain the weight, I lose the weight, I gain the weight, and it's a vicious cycle because they're not making true changes. They're not making, you know, changes that are going to change their life forever, which is important. And I've been there, done that, so I'm not casting judgment in any way, shape, or form. You know, I think it's really important that as we listen to the segment, first of all, Shelly can work with people. She can Skype people throughout the nation, and she is willing to continue to coach you and help you and work with you in different ways if you want to reach out to her. But I know that no matter where you're at, if you feel as though you need one-on-one coaching and guidance, one-on-one assistance to really get in there and decide, you know, what is it that I'm doing wrong? Why can't I, you know, make this work? And I know that I can refer you or she can refer you to somebody wherever you're at. And the goal is just to really look at your life and then decide what will work for you and how can you make the changes that you want to make. So Shelly's come prepared to share with us a few tips today. I know that all of the tips are fantastic because I read them. So stay tuned and listen carefully. You may want to take some notes. Shelly, share with us the first tip that you would suggest for losing weight, feeling great, making a lifestyle change, you know, truly making a difference in 2014 so we can be where we need to be as we move forward.
Right. First thing, I don't want anybody to think that this is going to be a diet, because a lot of times when people start diets, it's a negative thing. They don't really, you know, it's, oh, I can't do this. I really want it to be a lifestyle change. It's got to be a lifestyle change. It's got to be something that you commit to for life. And so we change those habits. So
how do you, so you don't recommend like the cabbage soup diet for, you know, just eating cabbage for 15 days or whatever, or just necessarily cutting out carbs? Do you do that for some people or not all people?
I do. I actually try to figure out what's going to be best for you. I'll talk to you about your lifestyle. We'll decide what has worked for you in the past, what hasn't. You know, how are you going to feel? We want to make sure, and I also consider, are you an athlete? Are you not? You know, are you somebody who, you know, is a mom? What is going to work best in your lifestyle? For sure.
I think that's important because I know being a mom, your lifestyle definitely changes. I know you don't have as much time for you anymore. You may eat differently because you're busy and you're multitasking and you're doing different things. So how could you make better decisions on the go? And even people that travel, you know, and anything that you do with whatever job. So would you have another tip that you might want to share with people?
Remember, you're not running a marathon. You're not running a sprint. You're running a marathon. You're actually trying to do this a little bit at a time. You didn't gain all your weight overnight. You're not going to lose it overnight. Okay,
so tell me, if you didn't gain it all overnight, you're not going to lose it overnight. Let's say somebody wants to lose, let's just say 10 pounds. What is the healthy, realistic way to lose those 10 pounds? How much time would you, and I know everybody's different, but how much time would you say is a realistic goal?
Probably a month is fair, because if you're going to, well, I guess it really depends on what is your goal. You know, like you said, a month to 6 weeks is fair. A pound to 2 pounds a week is a healthy, realistic weight loss goal.
Okay, that's interesting. That's really cool, and that's definitely attainable. If you look at where you're at right now and where you want to be at that next holiday season or next New Year, you know, you can definitely look at how much you can absolutely lose between now and then.
Right.
And what would be your third tip that you want to share with us?
Change your self-talk. I have this whole theory of, if you tell yourself you can't do something, you're going to go do it. So instead of saying, I can't do this, say, I don't do this anymore. I don't eat that anymore. And then that way you don't have that person sitting on your shoulder saying, ha ha, you said you can't do it. Well, now you're going to want to do it even more.
That's awesome. You know, I have two things that I've taught my kids, and one is you don't eat to live, you live to eat. No, you don't live to eat, you eat to live.
Correct.
And my 7-year-old now says that. You know, he'll go, I know, and he'll say that. But it's just a way to teach them that, you know, so often we get food is how we heal ourselves, how we socialize. You know, it becomes such a center of our lives that we have to remember that you're not eating that because you're, you know, if you're hungry, you know, eat to live and not live to eat. The other thing that I like to say all the time is nothing tastes as good as being thin feels. So when you're, you know, really craving something, you know, it helps you remember your goal and at least try and make a better decision. But like you said, not depriving yourself from everything, because, you know, you do, if you say, I'm never going to have that again, and you absolutely love it, you are going to break that pattern eventually.
Absolutely.
So what would be your next step?
Accountability is the key, for sure. I even myself still have a coach that I go to every 2 weeks, because accountability and having somebody to answer to is absolutely the key.
Okay.
You know, to make sure that you're not going to answer to your husband, you're not going to answer to yourself, you know, and so accountability is absolutely the key.
That's awesome. Now, what are some of the techniques or the things that you find with most of the people that you coach? What are some of the things that you find people do most frequently that you have to help them break that pattern?
That's a really good question. More times than not, it's people who eat a lot of sweets. I actually have people who have problems with drinking, and so we just have to really work through that, and I work on their emotions and their mind through that.
Okay,
and
so
what
that's interesting.
causes them to do that.
Okay, that's very interesting. So if you do have somebody that is, you know, eating sweets to deal with depression,
Correct.
or drinking alcohol to deal with stress, you know, or
Correct.
whatever. So as a coach or a mentor, even though you work at a doctor's office, your goal is to help them through that. Now, I stopped drinking Diet Coke a while ago, and the other day I remember I just had this huge urge and huge craving for Diet Coke. I have a feeling it was because I was missing something, like something out of my body was wanting something different. Are you able to coach people through that as well? Like if they say, I have this huge craving for salt, what do I do? You know, so I don't go eat a bag of chips.
Okay, so I actually have a funny way about that. I'll say, if your body is asking for that, have it once. Just don't keep it in your house. If you are craving it so bad that you're willing to get in your car and drive to have it, do it. But only do it once, and don't bring home a 24-pack of Diet Coke.
Okay.
Or don't, you know, bring home a big old bag of Dorito chips. Have a small. I would prefer you not to eat that, but if your body's craving it, have it once so you can break that craving.
That's awesome. Are there any other suggestions or tips that you can give women that maybe starting the new year? Like how important as far as the clients and the patients that you usually work with, how important is exercise?
Absolutely important.
Okay.
Absolutely important. I tell people start slow, you know, and then, you know, let's say you're going to walk on your treadmill at least, or on a treadmill at least once a day for 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then the next day you take a rest. So at least 3 times a week, and then, you know, add a little bit of time, never go backwards. If you're going to walk for 10 minutes for 2 weeks, that's fine. But if you decide to add a few minutes, never go back to that 10 minutes. Go, you know, go to 15 minutes, but never go backwards.
I think that's awesome. And, you know, my daughter and I have been running 3 times a week, and it's really cute. Because she's got long, lanky legs, and so her, like, leap is like my 4 runs, you know, as she goes. But that's our goal is like we always push each other. Like in the beginning, we started with, you know, let's just run, let's just jog, you know, for 30 steps, and then go to 60. And now it's like 100. And it really does give you something to work for, and isn't as unbearable.
Right.
Now, how important, like if a woman's overweight and she's watching this segment, or anybody that's watching the segment, if they're overweight and they want to lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds, whatever it may be, how important is it that, like, is it a wise decision for them to eat a salad for dinner and then give their family spaghetti and meatballs? Like, is this just about you changing, or how important is it to bring the whole family in?
That's actually one of the things that I work with, especially with mothers. Let's try to figure out how we can fit this into your family. You know, if we're going to put you on a diet, let's fit this into your family. Do we have to torture your family? No, but let's figure out how they can eat what you're going to eat as well. And we find easy ways to do that, easy ways to, you know, take out pasta in their diet, but you're still not going to deprive your family
Okay. Now, I know before the segment we talked a little bit about how you have, if you're Skyping a client, there's a specific scale that you encourage them to buy. Why would they need a specific scale if they're going to hire you as a coach, if you're doing a Skype phone? And
Right.
what information, like what should we know about? My husband just got me a scale for Christmas. I'm wondering
Right.
if there was something else I should have asked for, you know,
Sure. I actually always look for a scale that does a body fat percentage, that breaks down your bone density, breaks down your, it's called a BMR or BMI, but we want to know exactly how many calories. That scale will say kind of how many calories you should take in, so we can make sure that we weigh it correctly with how many calories you're taking in and taking out.
Okay. If you're trying to lose weight and you take out too many calories, because a lot of women do that. A lot of people take the medication that causes you to not want to eat, so then you don't eat at all and you're not absorbing enough calories. How bad is that? Like if you just cut out everything and just go to just salads 3 times a day or something like that with no dressing?
It's bad. It's really bad, because then you put your body into starvation mode, and then your body's going to go into, the mode of holding on to everything that you eat. And in fact, I tell a story, and you've heard me tell this story. I am a marathoner, and I was running 3 half marathons in 3 months trying to lose weight, and I thought certainly I'll be able to lose weight. Well, in fact, I was in starvation mode, and I gained, over that 6-month period of training, I gained 50 pounds. And I thought, how can this possibly be? Well, it's because I wasn't eating enough, and I didn't have somebody saying, hey, are you eating this? Are you eating right? Are you getting in enough calories? Are you eating enough protein? And I know this stuff, but I was just kind of in that mode of, just going along.
I think that is so critical and so important to talk about, because when you're in that mode and when you take a look at, we're just going along. And I think that that's the perfect way to end the segment, because when you're going along, all too many of us in life and business and whatever you do, we get up every morning, we do what we got to do, we go home every night, we get up every morning, and it's just a constant repeat, a constant cycle. And all too often we don't stop and take a look at our life, look at what we're doing. And that's what you were doing. You were running a race, and we're all running a race in life right now. She was running a race and she forgot something that was critical, and it actually stopped her from reaching her goals. So know that each and every one of you we know you're running a race. We know that you're all working on goals. We know that you're all setting resolutions. But if you don't stop and analyze it and allow other people to help you analyze it, mastermind it, look at people. A professor of mine once said when I worked at the university, he said, you know what, Kathleen, if you surround yourself with people that are smarter, wiser, and more successful than you will always continue to learn, you will always continue to grow. But if you spend your life around people that aren't as smart, aren't as wise, aren't as successful, you will spend your life teaching. And though I loved being a teacher, I would rather grow to become the best that I can possibly become and to reach each and every one of my goals that God intends me to reach. But I would also rather you do the same. So I think that was an awesome analogy. I thank you so much for being on the show, and I know that the first person that either Facebook Shelly on our WOAMTEC Facebook page, sends her an email on the WOAMTEC directory, Shelly Bradford. And what is there a way for them to reach you, an email address or a phone number, or just send them to the directory?
You can email me at shelly@southwestinternalmedicine.com,
Okay.
or you can also give me a call at 407-345-4955. And that's my
Wonderful.
office number.
Okay, so the first person that's watching this segment that contacts her, she's going to give you a free, is it a 1-hour weight loss consultation? Okay,
Absolutely.
now here's the
Absolutely.
catch. You have to be willing enough to say, hey, Shelly, I want you to help me lose 50 pounds. So it's got to be somebody that has an audacious goal, that wants to make this year a better year and wants to achieve their goals. And she's going to hold your hand and help you do that. So thank you again for being here. I appreciate it. It was a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. It's just such a joy to share people's stories, to help bring education and awareness to you, because, sometimes things that we learned once and then forgot about can be so simple and so easy and so life-changing when somebody else just reminds you to turn that light bulb back on. So Happy New Year, everybody. I look forward to seeing you next month. Have a wonderful and prosperous January 2014. God bless.